Hello everyone, this is Smita Shri. Welcome back to my channel. This is the second part of the first chapter of child development and pedagogy, that is the concept of development and its relationship with learning. So we have already learnt about what is development in our first class. Now we will proceed with rest of the topics in today's class. So we have already understood what is development. We have understood the concept of development in our previous class. And we have also discussed the various definitions given by various thinkers. In today's class, we will start with the characteristics of development. So these are the main characteristics of development I have mentioned here. So the first one is development is a continuous process, means it is a continuous process. It continues throughout our life. Okay, it is a continuous process, means it is a lifelong process. It is a lifelong process. It starts before our birth, that is, it starts at the moment of conception and it continues till we die. Okay, so it's a lifelong process. And the second characteristic is it follows a certain sequence, means development is sequential. It follows a pattern, and it occurs in an orderly manner. Okay, development occurs in an orderly manner. For example, first child enters in infancy stage, and then childhood, then they enters in adolescence, and then adulthood. Okay, so in this way development is happening in a sequence. It is sequential. And for example, first child learn to crawl, then they start walking, and then they start running, means from crawling to walking stage, and then from walking to running development is happening, means it is happening in sequence. It is sequential. Now it is both quantitative and qualitative, means development has two aspects, quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative means which we can directly observe, and qualitative refers to the quality. Okay, means it enhances the qualities of a person, like his personality will develop, his behavior will change. So these are the qualitative. We have already learned about these two in our first class. If you have not watched that video till now, then go and check that video first, because it will help you to understand this video better. Okay, now the next characteristic is it is affected by a number of factors, that is internal and external environmental factors, sex, etc. Means development is affected by the internal environment. Internal environment means the environment inside the mother's womb. Okay, like the nutrition mother provides to the child. Okay, when the child is inside, and it is said not to smoke and drink to the pregnant lady. So these things affect the child, and a lot of care is taken by the pregnant woman for the better development of the baby. Okay, and external environmental factors means after the birth of the child. Okay, how is the environmental situation where the child is growing, so that also affect the development process. And sex of the child also affects, like what sex or gender of the child, like if the child is a girl, she will be comparatively more emotional, and her physical appearance will be different from a male child, so gender will also affect. And many other factors will influence the development process, like the culture, the society of the child. Okay, now the next characteristic is it is predictable, means we can predict the development process. Development is predictable, but it is not possible to predict accurately. We cannot be sure what the qualities or skills a person will develop. We can only measure. Okay, sorry, we cannot measure development. It can only be assessed. It can only be assessed, means we can only assess development, we cannot measure it. And rate of development varies from person to person. The next characteristic is, means development varies from person to person. Nobody develops at a same rate. Okay, because of individual because of a term, that is individual difference. And what is individual difference? Individual difference means we all are different from each other. Okay, we are not same. This is obvious. We are not same. Okay, this is obvious because we have got different genes, we have got a different environment. So no two individuals are same. Okay, some develop a certain skill or ability at a faster rate, whereas some take more time. So the rate of development varies from person to person. Now these are the types of development. Okay, first physical development, then cognitive development, then social development, then emotional development, language development, and moral development. So first one is physical development. Physical development is the most recognized, this is the most recognized change. Okay, so we can directly observe this change, this development. We can all, if someone is changing physically, we can see that. Okay, so it is most recognized and most observable. In physical development, two types of skills develop. One is gross motor skills. We develop two types of skills, gross motor skills and fine motor skills. Fine motor skills. What is motor skills? Motor skills are that skills that enables the movements and that helps us to move our body. Okay, to move different parts of our body, and it helps us to do our tasks in everyday life. So gross motor skills involves it involves the movement of large muscles. For example, our legs, our arms. Okay, so it is the movement of large muscles, and examples of gross motor development can be walking, running, okay, jumping. These are the examples of gross motor skills. It is the movement of large muscles. Large muscles like legs or arms. Okay. Now what is fine motor skills? Fine motor skills involves the movement of small muscles. Small muscles like our fingers or hands. Okay, and examples of fine motor skills are drawing and painting. We use fingers for painting, for drawing, for writing. Okay, and there's so many examples. Stitching will also be there, knitting sweaters. Okay, these all are knitting something, knitting sweaters or anything. So these are the examples of fine motor skills. So in physical development, two types of skills develop. One is gross motor skills and another one is fine motor skills. Okay, so these are the examples of gross motor skills, and these are the examples of fine motor skills. And physical development largely depends on child's health and nutritional status. If the child is getting appropriate amount of nutrients, then he will be developed physically. He will be more developed physically. Okay, and the next type of development is cognitive development. Cognitive development, it involves the development of problem solving skill in the child. Problem solving skills. Okay, reasoning ability will develop here, and intellect will be developed here. Okay, so cognitive development helps the child to understand the world. Okay, he will develop knowledge, he will develop so many kinds of understanding in this development. So and brain development is a part of cognitive development. Brain development is also there, okay, in cognitive development. Now social development. Social development means means how children interact with the society. Social development is the result of interaction with the social environment. It is the interaction, with the society or the social environment. Okay, it is the interaction with the society. So social development, it is a social process. Social development, it is a social process under which child learns to behave according to the society, according to the social values, according to the social norms or traditions. Okay, social development, like it is the ability to behave in accordance with social expectations. Okay, so social development is very important for the for better, for the healthy social relationships. Healthy social development allows to form positive relationships with our family, with our friends, with teachers or other people. So it helps in making a good relationship, a healthy relationship with the society. Now emotional development. Emotional development, it is the ability to express and to manage our feelings. Okay, it is the ability to manage or regulate or control our feelings. Like feelings, for example, fear. These are our emotions. Okay, it helps to manage our fear, manage our anger. So different kinds of emotions: joy, pleasure, okay, sorrow. So it helps to regulate and control emotions and to form secure relationships. Okay, the emotional development is directly impact social development. Development directly impacts social development, because emotionally sound person lead a happy and peaceful life as comparison to the person who is emotionally disturbed. Okay, so the person who is emotionally sound knows how to handle different situations and how to act according to the situation. So he will not be drained by emotions. He knows how to interact with the people. So it will directly impact the social environment also. And language development is also a very important part of development. Language, this is the process by which children come to understand and communicate language during early childhood. So language is the medium of communication. So it is very important. Language development is very important, okay, in early childhood. And in language development we develop 4 skills. Okay, 4 skills will develop here in language development. 4 skills, that is, first is listening. Okay, and then speaking. Listening, speaking, then reading, and then the last step is writing. So these are the steps of language development. First is listening, then speaking, then writing, and then reading, and then last one is writing. Writing is the most complex step, so it will happen later. This is the last step. So you can memorize like this: first L, then S, then R, and then W. Means listening, speaking, reading, and then writing. Now the last types of development is moral development. Moral development is the process which help to discriminate, okay, or to differentiate between what is right, what is wrong, and it helps to act accordingly or behave accordingly. Okay, child will able to differentiate what is wrong, okay, wrong, and what is wrong, what is right, or what is good or bad. So in this type of development, child learns and to differentiate between what is immoral, what is moral, or what is right, wrong, good or bad. So they understand these things in this development. Now we will understand the stages of development. We'll see what are these stages of a child development. So these are these stages. First is prenatal stage, then infancy, then childhood, and then adolescence. So infancy is the time period of 40 weeks. It is 40 weeks. 40 weeks means 280 days, or approx 9 months 10 days. Okay, means 280 days or 9 months and 10 days. Okay, so this is prenatal stage. This is the period when the child is inside the mother's womb. Prenatal stage means when the child is in the mother's womb. Okay, when the child is inside the mother's womb. And these time periods are according to the general perception. In different books have mentioned different time periods, but these are according to the general perception. And the infancy stage, this is the stage, infancy stage, this is the stage where when child growth takes place most rapidly. Okay, here in this stage child growth takes in this stage physical growth takes place most rapidly. Okay, so most rapid physical growth will occur here. Most rapid physical growth. Okay, physical growth will be more rapidly here in this stage. So if question come that in which stage physical growth is fastest after birth, then the answer will be infancy. Okay, then the answer will be infancy. But if the term after birth not mentioned in the question and prenatal stage is there, then in the prenatal stage is there in the option, then the answer is prenatal stage. Means if the in the overall stage, the most rapid physical growth takes place in prenatal stage. But after birth, in infancy stage, physical growth will be most rapid. Okay. Now we will see the childhood stage, which is the most important stage. Questions have many times asked from this section, childhood section, which is from 2 to 12 years. Okay, so we will understand this in details. What are the things which happen in the childhood period. So childhood is further categorized into two category. Okay, first one is early childhood and later childhood. Okay, so in early childhood we also call it a play age. Early childhood is also called as play age because children start playing here in this age, and this age is the time period of this age is from 2 to 6 years. This is very important. The time period is very important. Okay, later childhood is from 7 to 11 years. So this is a play age, and this is also a preschool age. Why it is a preschool age? Because in this stage child don't go to school. Okay, children don't go to school. However, they go to play schools. They don't go to elementary school. So we consider this as a preschool age, and and this stage is very important for the language development. So it is a very important period of language development. Okay, and early childhood we call it as a pre-gang age. Why it is a pre-gang age? Because in this age they don't children don't stay in groups. Okay, when they enter in later childhood, then they start spending times with same gender groups. So this is not a, so early childhood is not a gang age, it is a pre-gang age. Now later childhood, it is a gang age. It is a gang age. Child starts spending more times with peer groups, okay, with the same gender group. And later childhood is also called school age. Children start going to schools in this age. Or this age is also called troublesome age. Troublesome age, because in this age child fight a lot, okay, they do so much trouble. So this is a troublesome age. They start fighting with each other. And in this stage is also a long lasting relationship stage. Long lasting relationship create here, okay, means child create long lasting friendship or long lasting relationships. Now so this period is the most important of all. Questions have been many times asked from this childhood stage. So these are the few important points. Okay. Now we'll understand adolescence. Adolescence is also important. This is from 13 to 19 years of age. So adolescence, we'll understand adolescence. Adolescence is called as transitional stage. This is called a transitional period. Okay, adolescence is called as a transitional period or transitional stage, because this is the transition of the child from childhood to adulthood. This is the transition from childhood to adulthood. Okay, so adolescence is the middle. Adolescence comes in between these two, between childhood and adulthood. There's a very important line. There's a very important line given by Stanley Hall, that is adolescence is the age of stress and storm. This sentence is very, very important. Questions have been many times asked from this sentence, like who told this sentence, or this sentence is given by whom. So adolescence is this age of stress and harm. This is said by Stanley Hall. Stanley Hall was an educationalist. He said that he was a psychologist. So according to him, adolescence is the age of stress and storm. Okay, so this is very important. Now so we have understood all the stages of development: prenatal stage, infancy, childhood and adolescence. So now we will understand what is growth. So we have understood what is development. Now we'll see what is growth. So growth is a part of development. It is a quantitative part of development. It is only the quantitative change. Okay, growth has only one aspect, that is quantitative. So growth refers to increase in weight, height and changes in body proportions. Okay, it is only the change in the quantitative aspect. Okay, growth is the quantitative change. It takes place in physical aspects only. Growth is limited to a certain period of time. When the organism enters the maturity age, growth stops. Okay, so till now we have learned that development is a continuous and lifelong process. Okay, but growth is not a lifelong process. It stops at a certain period of time. Okay, when the organism become mature, or when the person hits maturity, growth stops. So it is not a lifelong process. And these are the few differences of growth and development. So we'll understand one by one. Growth is quantitative in nature, means growth is only the physical aspect. Growth will only happen in quantitative aspect, and development is quantitative as well as qualitative in nature. Okay, and growth refers to physical aspects only, and development refers to all aspects such as more physical, cognitive, social, moral, emotional, language, etc. We have already learned about these, all this development. Okay, so will development is an overall change. Okay, it will happen physically, the person will change physically, cognitively, social, moral, emotional, language, all kind of development will happen here. Growth stops at a certain period of life, means growth is not a continuous process, it is not lifelong, it stops at a certain period of time, but development continues till death. And growth is structural, but development is functional. Growth brings structural changes only. Okay, for example, if someone is 5 feet 5 if someone is 5 kg of age, 5 kg of weight, and after 1 year he become 6 kg, so his structure has changed now. But in development, development is functional, it means it will act functionally. Okay, the person's functions will change, his personality will change. Okay, so many different skills he will learn, so many different skill he will develop other there are so many abilities and capabilities he will learn, he will develop in himself. Okay, so and the next difference is growth can be measured and development can only be assessed. Means we can measure growth, but we cannot measure development. Okay, we can measure if someone is 5 feet tall, we can measure that. Okay, but development can only be assessed. Now these are the factors that influence the growth and development process, that affects growth and development process. So first one is heredity. Heredity means this is static means which we cannot change, means we cannot change our genes. Heredity factors includes genes. Okay, all those factors which are transmitted from the parents to the child through their genes. These are what the genes we got from our parents. So heredity factors is a very important factor that influence growth and development. Okay, heredity factors influence all aspects of physical appearances, such as height of the child, or weight, body structure, color of the eye. Okay, color of eye or color of skin, and even our intelligence and aptitudes also are determined by our genes. So heredity is a very important factor. It influences the growth and development process. Okay, now development is not static, this is dynamic. Development is a dynamic process, means this is changeable. We can change our environment, but we cannot change our genes. We can change the society, we can change the environment we are living in, but heredity factors we cannot change. So it is dynamic in nature. Environment also plays a very crucial role in the development of children. Okay, if a child grows in a very positive and very happy environment, he will be more developed. The child will be more developed than the child who is raised in a stressful environment. Okay, and environmental factors like will also include the society in which the child is living. The socio-economic background of the child also affects the growth and development process. Okay, if the child belongs to a well-developed society, if he belongs to a economically advanced family, then then there will be enhancement in his growth and development process. So environment is also a very important factor that influence growth and development, and these two, heredity factors and environment, these two are very important for the growth and development process. And it is said that development is a product of heredity and environment, means development is the product of heredity and environment. Development is equals to heredity into environment. Okay, means D is equal to H into E. So development is the product of, okay, it is the outcome of, it is the result of heredity and environment. So this is also important. And nutrition is also very important. It also plays a very important role, okay, very crucial role in the growth and development process. Nutrition of the child is very important. Growth and development is closely related to nutrition. A sufficiency of food is very important for normal growth and normal growth and development. Adequate supply of, okay, adequate supply of nutrients is very important. Adequate supply of nutrients is very, very important for child, especially in the early stage of life. So nutrition plays a major role in the development process. And the next is sex of the child is also very important. Okay, if the child is a male child, or if the child is female child, so they will differ in their physical, mental, all the growth and all the development will affect. There is a lot of difference in growth and development between girls and boys. Like in teenage, physical growth of girls is faster than boys, and the overall body structure and growth of girls are different from boys. So these are some factors that influence the process of growth and development. Okay, now we will see what is learning. Okay, we'll understand this learning. So learning is the process of knowing something new. Okay, what is learning? It is the when we know something new, means we learn something. It is learning something new. Okay, it starts from birth to death. Learning starts from our birth and it continues to till we die. Okay, so it continues from birth to death of an individual. Every time we learn something, okay, it continues from our birth to death. Like we we learn something every time of our life. At this moment of time also, you are watching this video and learning this chapter. Okay, so we all are learning every time, and learning helps us in becoming a better person. Learning helps us in molding our behavior. Okay, it makes us a better person. It helps to modify our behavior. It helps to modify our personality. So learning is very important. Learning is the process of acquiring new understanding, new knowledge, behaviors, skills and attitude. As I said, the learning is the process of, it is the process from which we acquire new things. Okay, we acquire new abilities, we acquire new knowledge, new skills. It is a process that results in a change in knowledge or behavior as a result of experience. Okay, we learn something new from our past experience. Suppose we did something in past that gave us bad experience, so we learn a lesson. We learn a lesson that not to do that thing again, because we had a bad experience from that thing, so we learned that we'll not do that thing again. Okay, so we learn from our it is a result of our experience. We learn from our past experience, and because of new things we learn, our behavior will also change. Because of new things we learned, our behavior will also change. Okay, now we'll see the relationship between learning and development. What is the relationship between these two? So learning and development both are interrelated. Okay, learning and development both are very related to each other. In learning, what happens? We learn something, we gain new knowledge from learning, and as a result of these knowledge we develop a behavior. Okay, from learning from learning different skills. Suppose if we learn how to dance, how to sing, okay, or how to teach people. then it will definitely change our personality and behavior. Means learning these skills develop our personality. So our personality is developed due to learning. Means that's means what? Means learning leads to development. Okay, so learning, from learning these things we develop something. So learning leads to development. So now learning awakens the developmental process through social interaction with peers and teachers in such a way that it will not occur if the child were in isolation. Okay, means through social interaction. Means through social interaction learning awakens the development process. Means by doing social interaction with our friends and with the teachers, or with the society, we learn many new things. Okay, and when we interact with different people, or when we talk to our friends or teachers, we acquire new knowledge, or we learn so many things, and these things will help in our development process. These things will help in our development process. Okay, and if a child is living in isolation, if he don't talk to anybody, if he doesn't talk to anybody, or if the child is not involving in the society, so he will not learn things, and hence he will not develop his personality. Okay, now learning is the development that comes from efforts and practice. Means in learning we make efforts. In learning we make efforts. Okay, and we do practice to learn something. Suppose we learn how to dance, we have to make efforts. Okay, if you want to learn dance, then you have to make efforts, you have to do practice for it. Okay, you are learning this chapter, you are making efforts to learn this chapter, you are listening carefully, you are focusing here. Okay, so we make efforts, or we do practice for learning. So learning comes from efforts, and it comes from efforts and practice. So this chapter is over. I hope you all understood well. The next video will be in Hindi, and I will also upload some videos of important objective questions for all the teaching exams, especially for CTET. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. See you again.